Hello everyone and welcome to this 13th and final step in how to avoid death by PowerPoint. I promised I wanted to go through with you guys how to implement a diagram with the cool effects of implementation of animations. So this is where I'm going to go through this. So buckle up for safety, guys. This is going to be fun and I hope you are going to use this skill in the specific way of doing it over and over again whenever you choose to have PowerPoint as a graphical enhancing tool, and specifically when we want to show data in ways that you haven't used before. So the first thing we're going to do is to just clear out the slide. We delete all the objects that are already there. We go into the insert part here. We click that little icon and we're searching for the chart ones. Here is this then, but the pop-up window will show you what kind of chart you want to use. In this case, I'm just going to use a simple line diagram, just as I showed you in the workshop. So I'm just going to press enter. Then you will have this pop-up window here where you will have the different series with different categories where you can implement from Excel. You just can do a simple copy paste and that will then be able for you to just go in and put in all the data that you need into the PowerPoint and into this Excel sheet that has opened up. But in this case, we're going to just stick with the different categories and with the different series. So I'm just going to take this one away. So what do you want to do? What's the next step? It is to just have this marked, jump over to the section where it says animations up here, and then you will see that there's so many different ones that you can choose from, a big variety. But to have the beautiful seeing of having each line just being developed in front of their eyes, it is wipe that you're going to select as the specific animation. So in this case, we're just going to click the wipe. What happens now is that you will see that the entire thing is just not the right way and what we want to have. That's very important that they go into the animation panel and we click that. So if you haven't done this, you saw that it was already there. We're just going to redo it again so it comes up. Then you will see this area open up here. And that is where you do all the magical stuff. So as you can see now, this is just one chart. This is one animation. We want to separate them, and we also want to make sure that they appear in the rightful order, and that they also appear from the right side, because as you could see, if you paid attention, it came from your right to the left, and that is not correct. So we click that little drop down menu. We go into what's called the effect options, and I will do this in a couple of steps. You can of course do this and simplify it and make it faster, but I just really want to make sure that you understand this. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to go into the chart animation, and we're going to select this not as an object. The animation wants to go by series or category. In this sense, it makes more sense, or in this kind, it makes more sense to just go by the series. So we click this one, we OK this, and then you will see that all the animations are coming out, all the lines are coming out, but they're coming out in the wrong order. And also you can see that the entire presentation itself, or the entire chart itself, is shown as an animation, and we want to avoid this. So what we do then is that we're going to scroll down here, and then we are going to go into the same thing, effect options. Now we can do some selection. So first of all, we want to make sure that it goes not from the right. We want to make sure that it comes from the left, so it comes in the rightful order. And then we come down to timing. As you could see, if you paid attention, it went really fast, the animation. So we want to slow this down, and that's where you're going to go from changing it from 0.5 seconds to maybe 3 or 5. These are the two ones I usually use when I implement this on a chart or I do it on a diagram. So I'm just going to select 3 seconds. That is a good sufficient amount of time, and I'm just going to click OK. Now you can see everything is moving up in a little bit of a slower pace. And they're coming in the right order though, and they're also coming from the right side. But what we need to understand is that we really don't want to have the chart background to be animated as well. So that's when we can go in and select that one specifically in the animation panel and just press delete. If I would start this slideshow, which I will, you will see that the chart is already there, ta-da. And then when I click next, the first one will appear, the second one will appear, and the third one will appear whenever I click it as a solid entity, or not an entity, as a separate entity, not a solid one, because we have separated them. So now we have done the simplest thing, and it creates so much in everybody who's listening to when you're doing it this way. What I don't want to do also is that I want to make sure that we follow the principle with a dark background and also making sure that this is standing out and popping out exactly like we want to. So the first thing we have to do is a little bit of work here where we're marking the text. We're making sure that it's in the right, let's see, the right color. I'm just going to use this one right here. And then we have to take the next object. We want to make sure that this one also, the font here is in the right color. So we're going to choose this one right here and press that OK. So we're going to make sure that everything is good and set. We also want to make sure that this one doesn't, in this case, fill any purpose. I'm just going to mark this and delete this, because what we want to make sure is that people understand what the Series 1 is, what the Series 2 is, and what the Series 3 is. We also have to go into the chart itself and mark the lines. So the outline from the lines here are in the rightful color as well, so they don't disappear when we're changing the background. So we're just going to select the color right here. I know for a fact that if we change the color in the background right now, some of these darker colors will be hard to see. So it's also good for us to go in and make sure that we change the outline there of that color to something that is more bright. So in this case, I select a little bit more bright green on this one. I will select a little bit more of a orange one to this one, but it's too similar to this. So this one we will then change into maybe some magenta color like that. And also good to pay attention to is that all of a sudden this is a little bit of a bug here in the system from Microsoft side. That's when we saw that the background that we just took away, it came back. So we just have to reassure again that we go in there and mark this specific animation and just delete that one. So it will be 1, 2, 3, and these three series are the ones that are going to be shown. Now we come to the conclusion that it's time for us to change the background. So we right click and then we go into Format Background. We are now going to go with the dark one, like I always encourage people to go with. And look at this. This is starting to look really good now. I'm also going to make sure that the font down here is in the rightful color so we can see specifically what it is that it's representing. There we go. So now I'm just going to start the chart. I'm going to make sure that everything is as it's supposed to be. No, that came back again, so we just have to delete this. So always make sure that everything, before you press an animation or move on to the next slide, that everything is like you want to. So as soon as you're doing any editing in here, this is going to pop up back again, so it's going to be the background that we need to just delete as an animation. So if everything is working the way that I want to, which I do believe, you will see the chart right here, and then when I press next, you will have the first one popping out. You will have the second one popping out, and then you will have the third one popping out as well. This looks really good. I know I am biased, but this looks really good in any presentation when you do it this way, because people get surprised and you are driving that anticipation or reward for them. What I want also to show you is to have the after effects of having each line just go dim afterwards, so people can really focus on the contrast. So what you do then is that you're going to mark the first one, in this case the second one. You do not mark the last one, because it is the last one you want to make sure that this is what they see. So in this case, it's going to be the Series 3 that we want them to show. So I'm just going to click this, and you can always play around that. You can select either the first one, and then you press Control, and then you take this one. You will see that the first one and the third one is the one that we're working with. But in this case, I'm just going to press down the first one, hold in Shift, and then press the second one. Click the roll down menu, go into effect options, and then here you can now look at this after animation. So here have you the opportunity of selecting a color that you want to have that specific line to take after it's done with it's shown into the, or after you have done the animation. So in this case, I'm just going to select let's go with a different color here, like a little bit of a darker gray here. So we really want to make it stand down. So like this. Now you see this is the color that we'll take afterwards, after you have done the animation and talked about that specific line, and then you will just press OK. So what will happen now is that you will have those two looking like this, and the third one will just be shown as it always has been. So I will just start this one right here. The first one, we're talking about this one, and then all of a sudden we're going to go into the second one. You see what happened there? Yep. And now we're going to go and talk about the third one. And that is the final result. So you see, now you have made sure that people will follow exactly what it is that you're talking about specifically. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen of the beloved Presenter Mastery program, now you have learned how to animate your diagrams. You can implement the same procedure with whatever diagram you choose to. In this case, I showed you the line diagram and how that is done. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate right here in this post, and I will be happy to answer it on the school forum. With that said, I wish you a bon voyage on this fantastic journey of creating really great diagrams. Alex, over and out.